when that happens, it can crash, and if it crashes, your save files are gone because there is no autosave function.
Ooh, okay. So was this run you had 12 seconds from a record? I assume that was crashless.
It was a crashless run, yes. I was really surprised because I thought there's going to be a crash.
Well, that is a very interesting feat then, by the way. I haven't introduced him. Heinke here, in case you didn't know or recognize him. Heinke, you also had a few other runs, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a Human Revolution run, which was really great, especially the elevator scene at the end with the music. And I did a Deus Ex run in the morning, which was my second run, so it was not that good, but it was a new PB.
Okay, that's also interesting. And were there any other runs that you watched maybe during this day today or yesterday night that you thought were incredible and deserve a mention?
Well, I was today in the Tales of Symphonia run, which was amazing, like from the start. I really enjoyed it because I've played the game as well, and it is magnificent, especially when you see the speedrun strats and the glitches, because it's really fast-paced, like you have the different characters with different abilities, and it's just awesome to watch that in in 7 hours. It is just awesome.
Hashtag best transitions, because falling down on my paper I have actually mentioned Tales of Symphonia myself here as one of those runs that you should absolutely definitely check out the VODs, especially because there was one incredible donation incentive that was met, namely the Kratos 1v1 fight blindfolded with bongos. So it was Bafan, the runner from France, actually sitting up there with Donkey Konga bongos and blindfolded with a Nyan Cat scarf around his head and playing that fight. It was such a shame that he actually didn't manage to beat Kratos in that case, because he was extremely unlucky in RNG. He tried it 4 times. He said in practice it only... Well, the worst thing that had happened was that the 3rd time was the one that finally beat him. And in the end, he took off the blindfolded because he was, a bit unhappy about how it went, and showed us how the Kratos blindfolded strats would have worked. Are there any other moments of that iconic run you remember?
Yeah, the Uncharted run was really quite cool to watch as well, and I really liked the Saints Row run too, because the Saints Row run was for one a PB, but of 9 minutes, so it was very fast. It was like almost no big mistakes, and it was really nice to watch as well.
I didn't even know that thing about the 9 minutes. That's also very interesting. I was still actually going to stay on the subject of Tales of Symphonia, if I hope you don't mind. Have you seen that run?
Yeah, I caught the last 1.5 hour of it, so I got the bongos.
You got the bongos? Yeah. So what do you think?
It was a great run for what I saw. They were really entertaining to see 4 people playing co-op, and I think it was a great run as well.
And to be honest, it wasn't only 4 people, because Bafan decided to do something really interesting. He not only had 4 people to finish, 3 co-op partners to finish the run with, he also had 3 co-op partners to start the run with, and he had 3 co-op partners in the middle with whom he did the middle part. So in total there were 10 people playing this Tales of Symphonia run, which kind of makes you remember one run that we have had last year, which let's say didn't turn out that bad. Regular viewers, I'm sure, will know what I'm talking about. But as I said, Tales of Symphonia, absolutely hype. And of course, it was on Yellow Stream. We did market Yellow Stream as the slightly shorter stream, the one with less donations, the one with more open speedrun blocks, like you just saw the Smash finals. But that game raised a humongous amount of donations. For one, the blindfolded Kratos fight was a $500 incentive. And also there was a ongoing donation war between which characters of the game should actually be in the party and which of the characters, namely the first one, would be the party leader, aka seen on stream. I was told that that happens more often during Tales of Symphonia, but we had an epic donation war between hashtag Team Lolly and hashtag Team Boobs. This side voting for most valuable Priscilla, and this side voting for Sheena, also known as Little Miss Useless, because apparently her abilities are not so good as Priscilla's Banhammer. But also a lot of other characters got voted back and forth all the time, like Genius, also called RN Genius, was in and out of the team all the time, and that donation will, I think, raise another $500 in addition to the $500 of the Kratos incentive, bringing that game to $1,000 raised, which I think is quite amazing for the Yellow Stream. Speaking of Yellow Stream, you just saw the Smash finals that were just shown. Unfortunately, I was here in the interview room, and I have no idea who actually won that, but I'm sure that the people who are watching this now have also seen the finals and can tell you exactly what that was. Off stream, we've also had quite some other fun stuff. For example, we've had a Magic tournament going on. Do you know anything about the Magic tournament? Because I wasn't there at all when it happened, how it happened.
Yeah, I know a couple of card games, but Magic is not one of them.
Have you been anywhere close to the Magic tournament?
I didn't even know that there was a tournament.
Okay, so unfortunately we have three clueless people about the Magic tournament here, which is a shame, because nobody can actually answer me who won the tournament. Apparently the winner was somebody who then left before the people who had taken part had found out who what the name was. But that must have been a very fun thing. Also, we have had, to quote Tingle, a waifu card game. Waifu card, also known as Weissenschwarz, which is, I once heard it being described as Moe the game. There are awesome cute cards. I think you should all check out somebody playing that game, streaming it. For example, I know Nev does that every now and again. Yeah. I also know of a few other runs that have happened, namely the reason why I have my second guest here, Rumiko. That was the Yoshi's Island speedrun that we saw yesterday evening. I don't know if during or after the recap. What are your thoughts on the Yoshi's Island race?
I think it was overall a very close race. Both runners had some really amazing tricks go through, and they also had a couple of big mistakes, but it was tight up until the end, and I think that's what makes a good marathon run.
I'm actually entirely, that's the word I was looking for, entirely seconding that. Like, they started off levels of any percent are, of course, well, I don't want to say easy, because in my opinion Yoshi's Island is a game that you cannot, let's call it consistent, and both of the runners got very consistent early levels, which carried on into the later parts of the run itself. I think for most part of the runs they had no more than a 4-second difference between them. Then there were the occasional, like as you said, mistakes. A death here, very unlucky bit there where like a little bit of backtracking had to happen. And there were also immensely cool parts. For example, 6-4. Do you play Yoshi's Island?
I never played it myself, but I was watching a lot of other streamers, so I think it's very incredible to see Yoshi Island speedruns, and so it later on in the videos again.
What do you think if you hear Yoshi's Island level 6-4?
I don't know.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that would be the famous lava skip.
The absolutely famous lava skip, yes. Many runs, people like Trihex like do that for a living and attempt to save it. If they don't manage it, usually. Would you want to?
Well, we had one runner that was in the lead. Steady was in the lead at the time, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. And he got about, I would say, 2/3 over the way, and then dropped a couple of flutters. Flutters are very hard to get to chain, and you need to chain like, I think it's 16 to 18 to get over there. He dropped it, fell down, and died. And couple seconds later,
actually, that was a little cut short, because he did drop it. Like, imagine him going across the screen with the lava skip. He dropped it here and tried to save it, and almost saved it, almost got back to the other side, but just dropped it just before he reached the other side.
Yeah, that's also very common, just to try to save it that way. Luckily, though, you had Sape, who got it first try. None of them are very good flutters, so I know both of them are very nervous about that.
Yeah, and that lava skip that was attempted by both completely turned the tables. Before that, Steady, thank you, I'm bad with the names. Steady was in the lead, and after that, Sape caught up and managed to win the race. Both runners got at least Sape got at least $20 to his disposal for, managing the lava skip, and Steady afterwards actually managed to get a $150 donation that was up to his disposal. I don't know if he actually knows about that and has allocated that yet.
I don't know. Was it afterwards?
It was just after the race. I was trying to catch them, but they were already gone.
Okay.
Maybe I should try to catch them again.
Yeah, if whenever they come back, I'm sure that they can go have a look.
Yeah, we also had some fun little extras, like I know from the Bubble Bobble co-op run that was on the Alice Dolls, who were co-oping Bubble Bobble, and they is also a treat in itself. And also we had a very interesting run this morning. That was Trainwreck percent of Influx. Trainwreck percent because it didn't go well. There were a few itchy skips that the runner Ruaki tried to do, but didn't exactly manage, but he was still on the estimate because he guessed that would happen. And also retro hype, we saw the Amiga being taken out with Parasol Stars and Great Guyana Sisters, which should bring me to the end of the recap, because I've heard that the time unfortunately is over. Allow me to thank my guests once again, Heinke on my right and Rumiko on my left. You can see both their Twitches, and I myself am Alco. And now back to the yellow.